I don't want to get in between this because I'm just going to be very, very practical here.
Why? Who's not being practical? Throw us a subscribe, a review, whatever you want. It helps out.
How many subscribers do we have now?
Let's keep that in-house. You would clearly enjoy the Biggie concert more than the Prince concert.
Easily. Why? You'd walk out of the Prince show, you'd be like, I should have fucking picked him.
All right, we're going to talk about flip-flopping. We're going to talk about this kid Matt here.
What did I do?
You know what you
I'm
did.
a pillar of consistency.
This is a trash brand. Come on. You could do better. This is a Grizzly.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome back to the Memo. And our second live stream is now starting. We didn't have as many technical difficulties as last time, but we did have a little bit of setup that we had to do. But we're finally here. We're ready to go. We're down a man this week, so all you have is me, Richard Lyons, Matthew Brodsky, and Igal Harari. Alex Masaudis is a busy man. He will be back next week. But we're very excited to talk about all our amazing topics today. Hometown report with the Jets and Giants, a bunch of fun stuff from this past week of football, and then we got our weekly picks as always. So let's get into our first slate of topics here today, which is always the hometown report, and as always, it's a negative report once again for the New York Jets and the New York Giants. So here we go. Let me just pull this up here. We got get rid of that and the hometown report. We're starting with the New York Jets. Another loss to the New England Patriots. How many times is that in a row now? I think since 2015. Is that the last time we beat them? 2016? Okay. Well, embarrassing loss, not even just a loss. Zach Wilson has his own Sam Darnold seeing ghost games. He denies that, but we're just gonna call it what it is. Throws 4 interceptions. I believe 3 of them were in the first half. And they weren't just, dropping off people's hands. He was throwing some bad throws. Just played bad overall, and it's not what you want to see, but it is a rookie quarterback going against Bill Belichick. And, one of the big storylines coming out right now with the Jets is, the whole saga with Denzel Mims, and he's not playing, and people are wondering. He's not even just not playing, he's inactive for the game. Guy doesn't even have, a jersey on or pads, but all we've been hearing all of camp, he's not a scheme fit. He lost weight, he had food poisoning, this and that. But when the guy is on the field last year and this year, with the chances that he's gotten, which were very minimal, he just makes plays. He makes contested catches. He gets downfield. He's fast. He's big. And he's someone that I think Zach Wilson could use right now. When things are breaking down and he's just, chucking the ball up, that's what Denzel Mims can do. He can go up and get the ball, and he's reliable when the ball's in his area. He doesn't really drop the ball. Like, you don't see him dropping wide open passes. The one snap he plays in week 1, he catches a 40-yard pass. And it's just, I don't, people are going to start to get really fed up with this story because nobody can tell. And look, I understand the fans don't matter in a coach's decision, but you can't just come out here and start selling to us every week that Keelan Cole and Jeff Smith and Braxton Berrios deserve to be out there on this roster, and he doesn't. And, people start to chirp and fans get mad, and this ownership, while they say they're staying out of the way, they're prone to reacting to things. And when they don't have a good image, they make poor decisions. So I'm not saying Denzel Mims is going to bring down the franchise, but it's just weird to me. And for a team that needs explosive plays and needs to change it up on offense, it has been 2 weeks, so we'll see. But I don't know why he's not out there. And
I mean, you drafted him in the second round with a weak receiving core to begin with. So obviously, Jet fans had hoped he would become the team's best receiver. And to not even be able to get on the field over some of the guys that you mentioned, it's kind of it makes no sense. So I don't know what's going on, but there's something that, the coaches don't like, or the coaches think that he can't do, or whatever it is. But it doesn't seem like it's going to get any better right now. Like I said, I can't imagine why they would just flip the switch and say, let's start using this guy. What has to happen?
The sound of it is that he's going all 17 weeks without playing a single game.
Right? But how could that be? How could that be possible?
See, the thing that's starting to, bother me, and what is weird is that during training camp, when all these beat reporters are there, they're watching the practices, and they're reporting that, Mims is playing with the second team, he's playing with the third team. Sometimes he gets reps with the ones, whatever, this and that. And they're, relaying to us, this warning that he might not play as much people think he's going to play. And a lot of people are starting to, like go at the beat writers and be like, you're just negative about him. You're tweeting negative on purpose. You're saying this and that. And they're like, no, we're just saying it how it is. We're saying what we're seeing. And this is how it is. And even they are now like the people who were watching training camp this whole time are like, all right, we saw how it was going in training camp and we're still shocked that he's inactive. Like something's going on there and they just don't agree with it. And I think, besides the coaches, they've probably seen him play the most of anyone. And what's also weird is I was watching Connor Hughes' podcast, and he was saying he spoke to 2 players in the organization and a few coaches in the organization leading up to Patriots Week, and apparently Denzel Mims absolutely torched the team in practice. Like, was the best receiver on the field. Like,
that's what I heard too.
Coaches saying that. So what does he need to do? But Jeff Smith is the gunner. Who gives a shit? You can't find another gunner? You make Denzel Mims the gunner. Like, come on. He asked the coaches to play special teams. I don't understand. Is he not that good at it, I guess? I don't know. But I don't know.
It's just like, if you're going to call him not a scheme fit, like, he's on your roster. You drafted him in the goddamn second round last year. Find plays. Find plays for him, like, to fit the scheme. I just don't get it.
Yeah, it really doesn't make any sense. And like I keep coming back to the guys that you mentioned. Like, I know you like the Keelan Cole signing, and like Jamison Crowder and Corey Davis are like legit wide receivers and that have like had some, a resume in the NFL. But it's not like he's like deep in the depth chart on a stacked wide receiver room. Like, There's no reason why he can't beat out Keelan Cole, Braxton Berrios, and whatever Madden name generated player that you mentioned, like Jeff Smith. It's not a real person.
He's been on the roster for like 3 years now, and he just doesn't do anything. He doesn't even get reps. Like, what? That's the whole thing. Like, he's literally on the team to be the gunner. I don't understand. He doesn't get in the game. And look, the reason I like signings like Keelan Cole and whoever else is because, I was expecting in the event you have Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Elijah Moore, Jamison Crowder. If one of them goes down, having Keelan Cole step in is not the end of the world. Like, I don't think you want him to be a starter every week, but I think he's serviceable backup, can, give you some good reps, in short spurts and stuff. I wasn't expecting him to, take away time from developing a second round pick. And that's what is bothering me most about it is that if he doesn't pan out, that 2020 draft class is abysmal. Even with Becton, he hasn't played. He's coming back this week. He's going to start. He was hurt. He's going to start now because they lost 2 safeties already. So we'll see. Maybe he can turn out. But Jabari Zuniga on the practice squad. James Morgan off the roster. I don't even know who else they drafted in that draft. That's how bad it was. I just don't. Obviously, Becton and Mims and Michael P. Ryan. He doesn't play.
Where's he been?
He's just like the 4th-string running back. He doesn't matter. Hurt his knee, punter. It's
just a waste of a draft year, draft class.
And Becton is probably obviously the best one, but he's not played a full season now in 2 years already, and he has a pretty bad injury. Not pretty bad, but a knee injury for a big guy like that, you don't know. And it's just that's a whole draft class of duds if Becton doesn't stay healthy his career, and if Denzel Mims continues on this track of not even getting a chance to play. And people talking about trading him, what are you going to get? You just spent the 2nd round pick on him and he doesn't play.
Yeah, I mean, he obviously doesn't have much trade value right now unless somebody thinks that they can use him in whatever scheme that they have. But I don't know.
Watch what happens. The Panthers are going to trade like a 6th for him, his former coach Matt Rule from Baylor, and then he's going to pop off. That's what happens with all these former Jets and the Panthers.
Jets South. Yep.
I'm telling you, that is so gonna happen.
Yeah, that's the most likely scenario right there. But then he's buried behind Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and Terrace Marshall. But they'll be like, he can play gunner for us, so he'll stay on the team. Okay.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. So we touched on Zach Wilson quickly. Disclaimer for the fans listening right now. I didn't catch most of the Sunday slate. of football games. I wasn't by a TV to watch most of it. So I'm going to, fall back to you guys for a lot of the recaps. I did catch some of the Zach Wilson plays, the interceptions. I think at least one of them was not his fault, but there was that third pick in the third quarter, which stood out to me, where he just underthrew the fuck out of some guy, and J.C. Jackson just caught it right in his lap. I know some people are overreacting to his start. Obviously, what does he have? What is it? 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions?
Yeah. 5 interceptions.
No, he threw 2 week 1.
Did he throw
no,
2?
He threw 1.
I thought he threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception week 1.
2 touchdowns, 1 interception.
4 interceptions this week.
All right. So, my take on that is, obviously it's not the start that Jets fans had hoped for in a perfect world. But I don't think any of us expected him to have a smooth entrance into the league with no hiccups along the way, as is the case for most rookie quarterbacks. But I don't know. For you guys who watched the game, if we can talk about Zach Wilson for a second, where is your level of concern at for, who basically has to be the answer for the quarterback for the Jets right now?
Richard, you could go. I spoke before, so.
Sorry, I was just checking behind the scenes stuff. Can you just ask the question one more time?
Where is your guys' level of concern with Zach Wilson right now after this rocky start?
I knew, and I think I said this on the Stella.
We can't have that right now.
Stella knows we're going live. She wants to be on the show.
She's taking them off.
She's pulling out Matt's camera. I'm gonna keep going, even though. That's an ad right there. That's a legendary moment on the memo.
Can't have it, Stella.
So my concern with Zach Wilson right now, I think I was saying this before the year. Their first few weeks of the season is really rough in terms of front sevens. The Panthers, the Patriots, coming up is the Denver Broncos. With Becton healthy, this O-line was suspect, and this was going to be a tough start to the season, given all the injuries in the preseason and never playing together until week 1. The O-line was going to struggle. Wilson was going to struggle. Totally expected it. I'll be concerned once if it's week 8, week 9, and the schedule softens up a bit and he's still making these type of mistakes. It really just looked like he was, so fired up. It just got to him, First home game as a rookie, apparently he got the loudest standing ovation when he came out of the tunnel, compared to any player. The stadium just erupted. He was probably just going on adrenaline, and he looked like he had the jitters and looked like he was just too amped up, and it happens. But I'm expecting him to settle down in the next few weeks. I think he'll struggle again this week probably. Hopefully it's more like the Panthers game where he has at least a good half and it doesn't look completely lost. But I don't know. I'm not that concerned yet. Darnold started off the same way, and I know whatever happened in his Jets career, but he towards the end of his rookie season was probably the best games of his career as a Jet, Sam Darnold, and that's you got to give him time. And around the league, a lot of these rookies are struggling. I know Mac Jones isn't struggling, but he doesn't look at anything special. He really just, throw. He does the dink and dunk that everyone knows the Patriots are known for, and he didn't look that great against the Jets. He just has a better.
He doesn't seem to make a lot of mistakes at this point.
Yeah, he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, which is what they need, but he doesn't make a lot of big plays. And Zach Wilson almost needs to, go by that right now. And Robert Saleh said it himself. He needs to learn that boring football is okay, because he's just launching it, throwing it downfield, looking for the big play, and there's check downs, there's shorter routes, there's simpler plays he can make that could keep the drive going. That I think he's just too excited to make a big play.
Yeah, that's a lot of what he did at BYU was he was a highlight reel down there. Mm-hmm. So I guess it's going to take a little bit of adjusting. Maybe those deep passes are not going to be there every single time. You don't have to do that every play, but I can't. Dude, she's biting the bottom of my chair, and I feel it on my ass. I can't do anything right now. No, but I asked that question because as much as I don't like the Jets and don't really care for Zach Wilson, I don't really think that there's too much to take away from this in terms of like panic mode or like freak out or like feel really shitty about your quarterback or the pick selection at this point, because you mentioned it too, the Bill Belichick factor. Obviously, what he does to rookie quarterbacks year in and year out, it's kind of like an impossible hill to climb, especially in week 2. So obviously there are some things that you want to see him do a little bit better with, but I wouldn't really be all that concerned right now. I would say that maybe Peyton Manning's interception record might be in jeopardy, but even if that is the case, like it's a work in progress. And putting a rookie quarterback in week 1 against those two defenses, like it kind of just is what it is, and he has to learn on the fly if he was ever going to be the guy anyway. So you take your lumps and you just keep trucking along. But I wouldn't really, if I message the Jet fans coming from an anti-Jet football fan, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, Yigal?
Well, I was hoping to get off such a, negative topic and looking into some positives that I saw at least out of the Jets.
Okay, let's hear him.
Because Zach Wilson, listen, didn't have a good game. That's it.
Guy.
Didn't have a good game. There's nothing more to say about it. He'll bounce back. He's a resilient quarterback. What I did find and what I did like was the offensive line looked a lot better than it did in week 1. I know they gave up 4 sacks, but it still just looked, I don't know, like more serviceable.
They all graded out better.
Yeah. And also the defense. They stepped up, against like a veteran-led Patriots offense. Oh, except for the quarterback,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But
I know what you mean. I mean, look, 2 veteran tight ends, veteran receivers, offensive line,
Oh, yeah, exactly. And listen, like also like the young corners, they look pretty decent, and just all around. Besides the quarterback play, like I feel like once Zach Wilson does like mesh with the offense, like you put the offense and the defense together, it's gonna look pretty decent, even this season.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Patriots ran up the score on us either, and we had 4 turnovers and they scored 25 points.
Even in the first half, they had 3 interceptions, and it was only a 13-3 game.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really take too – I think they scored 16 points off the 4 turnovers. So
yeah,
the defense held up. They did their job, and the secondary was our biggest concern coming into the year, and it's almost frightening that it's not anymore because the other things are going way worse that we thought wouldn't be that bad. Yeah, so – That was a positive. Fant, whatever his name is. I don't know. There's too many in the league. They all pronounce him different. He played much better at left tackle. Connor McGovern bounced back. AVT is looking great in the run game. Hopefully comes along the pass game. Van Roten leaves some to be desired. And Moses played all right. So hopefully going forward, as the schedule eases up, they continue to play better. Eventually Becton comes back and, things look up. We do have the Falcons in London after Denver, so
can I be honest? No. I really don't see. I'm looking at the schedule, and I just don't see where the Jets are getting a win, except maybe in Jacksonville. Like I look at the schedule, and I'm just like, I don't think they could win.
They do have.
All of a sudden, Eagle, before the season started, you were thinking 7 and 10.
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, they have the Falcon winnable games.
I guess now, listen, you're 2 weeks in, you get a better feel for the NFL.
Winnable games would be like Falcons, maybe Bengals, Texans, Jaguars.
Yeah, I'd say Texans, Jaguars.
Hope to split the Bengals?
To split with Miami. No, I don't think the Bengals.
Neither do I.
I don't think the Broncos are that. I mean, like we'll get into surprise 2-0 teams later in the episode, but I mean, 10.5 points. I still haven't made my picks yet, which I should do right now. But I'm looking. That's a lot, dude. Denver's not fucking good. Come on.
Yeah, but apparently we'll get to them later. I don't want to get too much into it. All right. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's 4 or 5 wins.
That's better than it's looking right now. So yeah, we've said it a bunch.
When did my hat fall off?
What hat?
Probably with Stella.
She just ran in onto my lap with it. I don't even know that it fell.
Oh, you were wearing that other hat.
Jesus. Sorry.
Yeah, so they're playing Denver this week, and like we've already spoken about it, good front seven. Offense is playing better than anyone expected with Teddy Bridgewater back there. So another test. Hopefully the Jets can make it competitive like week 1. But I think we should move on to the next part of the hometown report if you guys are ready to talk about the New York Football Giants.
Number 2 rated quarterback on PFF, Daniel Jones, baby.
Yeah.
How about it?
Stella, what do you think?
She looked right at you.
Yeah. So this game happened on Thursday night, obviously, so we didn't have to spend too much time on it because everyone's already, picked it apart and talked about it. But, for the first time in a while, a game where I think Giants fans can look at it, tough loss, heartbreaking loss, and say, that's how it happened.
I swear that did not happen before. I would have noticed. Hey.
Really snagged it.
That was tough. All right, sorry. I'll continue. I'm going to figure.
Daniel Jones was not the reason that the Giants lost this game, which is something they cannot say very often. So you got to be happy about that. But to let Taylor Heineke to just come out and absolutely torch your defense, I mean, look, I know people are kind of liked him after that playoff game last year, but that's just unacceptable, especially when the defense was supposed to be so good for the Giants. What did you guys take away from that game, and what do you think?
Yeah, so that is one of the games that I was able to catch. We were together for that, right? We were at your house?
We watched it at my house.
We watched it at yours. I thought Daniel Jones actually looked pretty good. And I know we like to shit on him, and rightfully so. He's obviously still has a lot to prove in the NFL. But when he has his legs working like that, and they're running read options, and he's like running out around to the outside, they did it a lot in the first half. I think Washington did adjust to it in the second half, and he started throwing the ball more. But I don't know, man. He shows flashes of potential, and again, we can talk about that pass to Darius Slayton that was overthrown on the wide open 50-yard should have been touchdown, but he's kind of just like a very mixed bag right now of highs and lows, and you don't really want that as a third-year quarterback. It's time for him to be more consistent, but. I mean, it wasn't a bad – he didn't play a bad game. Turnover-free football against a defense that's supposed to be pretty good. We can talk about Washington's underwhelming defense in a little bit. But I don't know. They're in a similar situation where looking at their schedule, it's going to be tough for the Giants to get wins for a lot of reasons. With their defense hasn't looked good either. But I feel like Daniel Jones he wasn't really the problem this game.
Yeah, I agree. And I am of the belief that it was Slayton's fault, wasn't overthrown. Make a play, Mr. Wide Receiver, if you want to get paid.
Well, what's been going on with
money?
What's been going on with Saquon? I mean, this is getting a little ridiculous.
The line can't run block, and he just runs into the defense. He's just never content with just getting 3 yards, getting 4 yards. He just is always looking to find a hole and get that 10, 20, 30, 40-yard gain. And he never can just, it seems like he can't recognize when the play's not there. Just run forward with your gigantic thighs and just get a few yards. 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6. Like, you don't have to get a touchdown on every single play. And, he's coming back from injury, short week, a Sunday game, and then right into Thursday, coming back from an ACL is tough. So we'll give him, but they don't really use him in the passing game. Like, I don't.
They're really not utilizing him out.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the biggest concern, and I've said this for a while now, and he's a big boomer bust running back. He won't go up the middle. He won't, like you said, get 3-4 yards of carry. He's moving horizontally more than he's moving laterally more than he is down the field. But then he'll break off. He had that 40-yard run, and you're like, oh, damn, this is like one of the best running backs in the league. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. You want to see more consistency, but I do think a lot of it has to do with the offensive line, the run blocking, because he'll get hit the second he touches the ball sometimes, or the holes just aren't there. So you got to figure that out. Is this a contract year for him? He has one more year after this.
Yeah, he would be the 5th-year option next year.
They got a big decision to make, but Yeah, I mean, he just has not looked the same. That what we've come to expect almost. But off the ACL, we'll see. It was a short week also, so
Yeah, it's
not a great way to start his season. 2 games in 5 days, but
Yeah, that's a good point with the fifth-year option, because also if they struggle as bad as they are right now for the whole season, Gettleman's gone, the man who drafted him, and is a new regime going to come in and pay Saquon Barkley big bucks when all anyone has talked about since he's been here is, yeah, the guy's talented, but you don't take him second overall no matter what, ever. Any running back ever. It's, like you said, big decision to make with him. And I said it too before, short week, tough to, ask a lot of him so early after the injury, but we'll see. They play the Falcons next week, so that could be a little, get right game, turn around Falcons, and then the Saints. We'll get to the Saints a little later too. But Yigal, you have anything to say before we can move on from the hometown report?
I mean, about the Giants, they blew the game.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to Alfie. I hit him after the game. We actually chilled for a little while. We were talking about the game, and he was just devastated, man. He was really just devastated.
Matt, you said you wanted to say – did you already say something about the defense or –
yeah,
you want to say something about Washington's defense?
Washington, we thought it was going to be, like, if not the best defense in the NFL, like top 5 defenses. And they seem like they can make a stop when they need to. And they haven't been able to generate really any pass rush. I know that obviously we talked about Barkley. Their run defense was very good against the Giants, but I think they sacked Herbert one time, and I'm sure they got to Daniel Jones a few times, but what?
You were frozen.
Okay, it's good.
In the funniest position.
Hey, you'll see it. It's on the thing.
I just got a notification saying my internet is unstable.
Yeah, you're like really laggy, and let me see if I can find. That was fucking hilarious. Okay, keep going. You're good.
I've completely lost my train of thought.
The Washington defense not getting stops. They're not.
Damn, I was frozen for that long.
Yeah, you said the whole. You were speaking. We heard you. Like you said it. But your face
was frozen.
Yeah. Here, I send it to you. Yeah, no, I feel like even their pass rush has not been what anyone thought it's going to be. Like Chase Young, Sweat, Jonathan Allen. That's the name, right? Is it Jonathan Allen?
Oh, my God. Oh, you hate to see that. Yeah, Jonathan Allen.
Yeah, I just haven't seen them get to the quarterback like I thought they would, and especially against the Giants. I thought they were going to wreak havoc, and they let the Giants put up 29 points on them. So, yeah, maybe we'll see. Maybe they'll turn it around. It's still early. Can lump the Washington football team in the hometown report there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Taylor Heineke looked really good, though.
Yeah, 300-something yards.
That pass to Ricky Seals-Jones. Whew.
Yeah.
Wow.
Feeding it to my boy Terry McLaurin. That's
the
all
curse of Egal strikes again. As Egal's saying he sucks, he just drops back.
Yep.
Boom.
That was poor timing. All right. Hometown report. Hopefully next week it's better. We're going to be saying it every week for a while, it sounds like. Hopefully next week it's better. Next year, hopefully next year is better. We'll find out. All right.
Eventually.
Moving on. We're getting out of New York, and we're going to move over to Baltimore, Kansas City. Chiefs versus Ravens. One of the games of the year in our short 2 weeks. I mean, nobody saw this coming. I know we were talking about it on the show.
I do want to give credit to Egal. I don't know. You didn't pick the Ravens on the show.
I didn't pick. I
just said he didn't like the line.
No, yeah. I said I would have picked the Ravens line. I didn't know straight up, but I did pick the Chiefs straight up.
Yes. So we were all wrong. All 4 of us were wrong on the Chiefs. But credit where credit is due, Egal. You were onto that here. You sniffed it out. And what a game, man. Listen, Lamar Jackson, say what you will about him, but the guy makes plays in crunch time too. Like a lot of the time in those close games, you saw it with the Browns last year. Like they just have in those situations, it must be so difficult for a defense to like know what to expect because of how dynamic he can be.
Mm-hmm.
And, maybe not, we talk about his arm all the time, but I mean, in third and short, fourth and short situations, it's so tough to stop that offense, no matter who's on the
Yeah.
field.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is too is that it's not like he changed anyone's mind about how he's going to play and what he does. Like he did the things he always does. He just did them just excellently in this game, and that's what they're going to need from him if they're going to stay on top of the league and make a push in the playoffs because of how decimated they are with injuries. But it was really just a treat to watch him. Just no one plays like him. He's the only guy who does what he does, and it's just the way he cuts, the way he moves, like everything is so precise, and stop and go is so quick. He's just a lightning bolt, and he just spins through people and breaks tackles, and it's crazy. Uh-huh. And then he'll throw a 50-yard bomb to like in the same drive, and then he'll also throw it over a wide open receiver's head. But
yeah, his passing definitely was a little sus that game.
But, I feel like Marquise Brown, Sammy Watkins have looked pretty good so far. Like it seems like they have, like Marquise Brown took a little bit of a step after a little bit of a slump last year, and like maybe these receivers around him, and when Bateman comes back, are finally like starting to see a little passing game growing around here. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it was encouraging to see. One thing I do want to mention, it felt like, first of all, the game was like that Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumble was brutal, but it felt like a game that was kind of like the team to score last or have the ball last was going to win.
Mm-hmm.
And this is interesting. Obviously, week 2, don't want to overreact. The Chiefs have the worst rushing defense in the league and the second to worst passing defense in the league so far. Going up against the Browns and Ravens, certainly not the easiest of competition, especially in the run game. I think those are probably the two best run teams in the NFL, Cleveland and Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a Chiefs team that you're used to, like, not being great. It's kind of like the bend but don't break defense, but they'll get a stop when they need to, or they'll make a big play. But if that's not going to get any better, I think it'll definitely, they'll be in a lot more closer games than they're used to, and it could come back to bite them in the ass. But I really do think the story of this game was Lamar Jackson, and I want to give him credit for that, because the 2 interceptions early in the first quarter to Tyrann Mathieu, they kind of did fall behind, and it was looking like a typical Chiefs-Ravens game where the Chiefs just pull away and stack up. But they fought back, and I bet the Chiefs with the spread and with the money line, and I never thought that the money line was in danger. Like, I don't know about you guys. Like, even when the Chiefs had the ball last before that fumble, like, all right, they're going to go get a field goal at least. Like, I thought that it was still going to be a safe win. And fucking Clyde, man.
That was a great play by the end, though. He dove, punched the ball out, and got the recovery. I mean, what a play by that guy.
Who was that?
Let me find out real quick. You want to say something?
Yeah, I mean, going back to what you were saying before, I feel like that's just like the Patty Mahomes effect, like whenever he gets the ball, you always feel like they're just going to score in clutch situations. You always feel like they're going to score. So I know that feeling, as a Jet fan, clearly.
Yeah. Odafe Owe? Is that Odafe Owe?
Never heard of him.
I think he's a rookie. I could be wrong. But that's the guy who forced it. He's a rookie. What a play.
Big play, yep.
Yeah. But yeah, it was an awesome game. It's been all the primetime games have been, except for, I guess, last night kind of broke the trend a little bit.
That was a decent game. That was pretty close up until like the fourth quarter.
That fourth down play just swung the entire, where the Lions didn't convert the fourth down, just swung the entire game in the other direction. And they were talking about it on the Manning broadcast. Like, it was such a complicated play for a 4th and 1, like throwing it to your outside receiver on this like contested comeback he has to dive for, and he had his running back check down wide open in the middle of the field. Like, it was just thought it was poor play call there in a game that they were running the ball well. They could have kept it close. but we've had some good primetime games so far.
Definitely. Yeah, we can transition to that game. I don't know what's next up on the docket, but
I didn't have that on the docket because I didn't think it was worth talking about. But if you want to put it on the docket, we can put it on the docket.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers is back.
All right, let me put it on the docket.
That's my QB.
Aaron Rodgers.
Finally beat Eck last night.
You beat him. Nice. Good. You made everybody happy. They like to see that.
I don't think I've ever beat him in fantasy.
Look, we said it. Yeah, no, he's always somehow good, but fuck him. We said it, Rich. We said it in the first half. I mean, Detroit hung with them. They were, what, was 17-14 at halftime? And then
I made the caption for this, is Aaron Rodgers back? Because we're not sure.
Good. All right. Detroit, man, they got some talent at 0-2 right now.
Yeah, they don't look too terrible. And Sewell, he's playing left tackle, looks a little better than, apparently he was the worst player of all time in the preseason. Everyone was talking about how much he was struggling.
He's been good, right?
Yeah, because I think their left tackle got hurt, so he moved back over, and now he's the elite left tackle prospect that you drafted. Play him at left tackle.
Yeah, you did say that when they drafted him. Maybe you weren't
He's
happy.
been playing left tackle his whole career, and you draft him to do that. And you say, okay, we're putting you on the right because we have this other guy who's kind of good at left tackle. Put
Move
the other
guy.
guy over there.
Who is they have a good left tackle. Taylor
Decker, yeah.
Move him to the
their offensive line is pretty good.
And there you go,
They have a
Matt.
pretty good offensive line. I'm fucking frozen again, aren't I?
Yes, you are,
Yeah.
sir.
You're fine. Just talk. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
doesn't matter. It's not
You just maybe should leave the show.
Fucking ridiculous. My Wi-Fi is so bad.
Aaron Rodgers, he comes, he shows everyone, and we all knew it too. We said it on the show last week. We fully expect him to take all this personally and absolutely slaughter the Lions. And not only did he slaughter the Lions, he used Aaron Jones as a bat and absolutely beat the hell out of the Lions and Matt.
Oh my god, Eagle! Did you see my matchup this week?
No.
I lost by 5 points because Alex had Aaron
Jones. You were up like 35 points, right?
I know. He scores fucking 39 points to beat me, the only guy going last night. And I was all right, to have a good game, fine. But 4 touchdowns?
It was really ridiculous.
Kidding me?
Weren't 3 of them receiving touchdowns?
Yeah, 3 receiving touchdowns.
I got them points.
He had like
I
6
got
receiving
them points.
touchdowns coming into the year, on his career coming into that game. And he had 3 receiving touchdowns.
He's a boss, though.
Fuck. He's a good guy.
Did you see what Aaron Rodgers said on the Pat McAfee show?
No, I didn't get to watch it today. I got to go back and look at it.
He's basically just like ripping on the critics still. He's like, who gives them a fucking platform to talk? Like all this shit. And I'm just like, wow. Like he really did take it personally.
Because he was like, because they were saying he looked like he didn't care. And he was like, who are these people? Like, why are they saying this? Why are they allowed to lie about me?
It must be so annoying.
And then I called in the show and I said, I think you're lying about yourself.
It must be very annoying. I know because they had a terrible loss and everybody right now, and then like they're attacking him like personally like that. It must be annoying.
They're like, he just wants out of there. He's a bad guy and he's not playing hard for the team. We are actually, I forgot, we're gonna game of the week is involves the Packers, so we were gonna talk about them. But yeah, it's what we expected. Lions put up a better fight than we thought they were going to. Poor Mr. Goff. All he's there for is to make a place appealing for other players to play.
Yeah, he'll be the bridge quarterback there, and he doesn't really have a chance.
Yeah. All right. Like I said, we're gonna talk about the Packers a little later. So let's move on to my favorite subject of the week, the Jameis Winston watch. Woo!
Very different tune this week than last week. Unbelievable.
And I want to go back to something I said when Matt asked me a very serious question. He said, "What if I told you week 1 Jameis Winston's going to throw 5 touchdowns and 0 picks in his first start as a New Orleans Saint?" My response was, "What did he do the next week? What did Jameis Winston do the next week, Matt?"
I told you I didn't watch the games.
Yeah. So Jameis Winston doesn't even throw for over 100 yards until like midway through the fourth quarter. Throws no touchdowns, 2 interceptions, just gets absolutely pummeled by the Carolina Panthers defense, and obviously much credit to Carolina and their defense for doing that to a team.
I heard that they were getting to Jameis, and there was a lot of pressure.
There was, and he did a traditional, pressure in his face, falling backwards, chuck it up as far as you can into triple coverage where it was picked off, and it was just like, wow, Jameis, maybe you really haven't changed that much, but. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna rag on the guy. I'm gonna say what I've been saying. It's gonna happen. He's got a whole season to prove himself here. One good game, one bad game. He needs to string together a few good games in a row to earn our trust. But we just cannot jump on the bandwagon until he does it.
Well, they got New England next week, so that'll be tough.
Oof.
Yeah, I mean, it just. And they couldn't run the ball. It wasn't just him. I think Alvin Kamara had 5 yards rushing.
No shit.
Yeah.
And I still fucking lost to Alex. Nice.
So it was.
It's still, listen, I mean, I think that this is going to be kind of what the Saints are throughout the whole year. They'll have some impressive wins. They'll probably have some bad losses. I think that this is like one of the teams in the league that you really can't put your finger on because that's the Jameis Winston experience that we've seen is inconsistency. So until he finds that consistent level of play, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this. And it's tough. I mean, and we're going to talk, like I said, about the 2-0 teams. Carolina, I guess they put together a good game on defense, which I have been talking about how I don't really love their defense, but this is 2 impressive performances in a row from that front seven. But, yeah, that was not the performance that we were looking for.
Yeah, and they obviously are in the same division, so he will get another chance. But since you brought up the 2-0 teams, I think that is our next segment, and the Jameis Winston watch does not have to go on for too long. Just have to give a little glimpse every week into what he does.
Ask me what he does next week. Let me put that back on you.
Yeah, all right. I'm all for it. All right, surprising 2-0 starts in the NFL. I guess we could stick with where we were with Carolina. I'm not surprised.
This hits home for you Jet fans too.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. No, I mean I'm a little surprised. But then, on paper before the season, you probably think they'd beat the Jets. Then you're like, they'll probably lose to the Saints. So beating the Saints, I guess, on paper was a surprise. But I think now that we're in 2 weeks into the season, you can kind of see why they would be able to compete with the Saints and beat them because they're not the same Saints that they always are. But really, it's that front seven, man. That pass rush, that D-line is just looking monstrous. And, they play Houston this upcoming Thursday. Brian Burns, Derek Brown, Hassan Reddick, all the other guys they signed. What's his name? What's his name? It's not Barrett. Shaq. They have Shaq someone, right? Thompson. Shaq Thompson. That's his name. The middle linebacker. He's good. J.C. Horn's looking good. I mean, team surprise.
Yeah.
They beat the Saints. I mean, they beat the Saints. We don't know what the Saints are. Then they beat the Jets. I mean, that's cool. They're going to play Houston this week, so they'll be 3-0, and we still won't really know much about them. Houston's going with the backup rookie quarterback because Tyrod got hurt. But no, I mean, the defense is impressive. Sam Darnold looks really good. They said this on might have been, I forget what radio show it was. I think it was like Get Up, where when have you ever seen Sam Darnold have back-to-back really good games and nice victories?
Never.
Yeah, but he's on the Jets. That really doesn't happen for us.
In the live chat, Mike Melda says Carolina's underrated. Yes, they are. That is exactly what we're talking about right now.
I mean, they seem to be looking pretty good. So let's see. They beat Houston this week.
They're going to go 3-0. They're definitely going to go 3-0 right now.
Davis Mills is starting, so
yeah. Panthers, Eagles.
Look, that pass.
Cowboys, Eagles.
I mean,
Vikings, Giants.
I know it's like two not great teams, but that pass rush I think is legit, and it's always going to be there, and it's always going to help keep them in games. And I don't know, as long it seems like the Panthers' plan, and this is something Rule has discussed before, is to not throw it all at Sam Darnold at once and like slowly bring him along, make it easy for him. And I think as the season goes on, you'll see that playbook open more a bit. It won't just be dump offs to McCaffrey and using McCaffrey every play. Like, you see more deep shots to Robbie. You see them use DJ Moore and Terrace Marshall and different ways. I think we're just seeing like the start of what this offense wants to do. And look, I don't think they're going to win the division. I don't think they'll probably won't even make the playoffs. But, I think they'll be a solid team that, teams that are looking to make the playoffs that need a win towards the end of the season, probably you don't want to play Carolina. That's the type of season I see from them.
True. That is true. Now you also have in the AFC West, the Las Vegas Raiders and the Denver Broncos sitting at 2-0. I think one of these teams is a lot more legit than the other. I think that Vegas might actually be good.
You think that, actually?
They beat Baltimore and Pittsburgh. I mean, Derek Carr, look, as much as I fucking hate to say it, the guy looks sharp. And he's a guy, like, they run a very efficient offense. They didn't even have Josh Jacobs in this game, and they were able to go into Pittsburgh and win against, that defense. From what I've understood from recaps and following along, because I didn't watch the games, Big Ben played like shit. Don't know how true that is. So their offense might have some problems.
He's hurt
but
too.
He is hurt. Shocker.
He's got a pec injury.
But dude, Vegas looks like they might be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, if he's hitting those deep balls to Henry Ruggs,
finally Henry Ruggs did something.
Yeah. What were you saying?
I can't believe they picked him over Judy and CeeDee Lamb.
Yeah, I mean, they still should have definitely picked both of them. What were you about to say?
I was gonna say, to be honest, I don't even remember. I was gonna say something about Henry Ruggs.
I mean, it's about they have talent. Every year they have talent. The Raiders. I mean, they just can never put it together. And I think what they need is a consistent year from Carr. He needs to be able to hit the big play. He can't just be a game manager. He's got to win games for them. And right now he's making those plays when they need him. And
yeah, listen, I understand these first two games are pretty big games for him to win, one in overtime, right? Or like right at the end of the fourth. Yeah.
Overtime against the Ravens.
I just feel like every single year Derek Carr gets out to a hot start and then slowly but surely, like he starts to, he just loses it. I don't really know. This has happened, for the last couple of years, I would say. So I don't really know how to view this yet. I'm going to give him a little bit more time before I buy into, them as a legitimate contender.
That's probably the right approach. We've seen it before, like you said, but I don't know. Maybe something's different this year. They played Miami this week. Don't know what Tua's status is, but I've liked what I've seen so far from the Raiders, as much as it kills me to say it.
No, they definitely look sharp. They look sharp. And you'll find out a little later how sharp I think they really are.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Now, other side of the coin, the Denver Broncos are also 2-0. I don't know if you guys saw, they just lost Bradley Chubb to ankle surgery. He's out 6 to 8 weeks, they said.
Yeah, that's big for the Jets.
That is big for the Jets this week. Yeah, it's great news for Zach Wilson. But they're another team who's now going up against a bad Jets team who they can sneak to 3-0 by playing the Giants, Jets, and Jaguars. So that's why I'm absolutely pumping the brakes on this Denver Broncos start. Bridgewater looks good, right? I think he looks pretty good. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the Broncos?
Fun stat about Bridgewater is he actually has completed or thrown the most 20-plus yard pass attempts in the league. I don't know if it was completed or attempted, but for someone who is, referred to as check down Charlie, Teddy Bridgewater, through 2 games, he is first in the league in that category. So we'll see if he keeps it up. He does have some stellar weapons. Cortland Sutton looked awesome. Had 12 targets, 9 receptions, 144 yards. Looks to be fully back from that ACL injury. But you're right, Matt. I mean, they haven't played any, intriguing competition yet for anyone to say they're legit. Everyone, their defense was going to be their calling card, and to lose Bradley Chubb again, who they lost last year, right? Was that last year or the year before? It might have been the year before. But they lose Bradley Chubb again. And
Yeah, I think it was the year before. But that's a tough loss. That's definitely a tough loss. Patrick Surtain looks really good, their rookie cornerback.
Yeah.
Surprising year where a lot of rookie corners are actually off to better starts than usual. It's usually like the hardest position to transition to. And you mentioned J.C. Horn, Patrick Surtain, Asante Samuel Jr. They're holding their own. But, yeah, I think that the Broncos defense will have to keep them upright for the rest of the season, because of who they have at quarterback, no matter how well Bridgewater's played against two bad teams. But right now, I mean, you have that AFC West. You have the Raiders and Broncos leading the division over the Chiefs and Chargers. I don't know how many people thought that would happen.
Nobody. We have Mike Melda again in live chat says he still thinks the Jets lose that game, but losing Chubb does help, and Mike LaFleur needs to step up. Yeah, I mean, I agree, man. That's one less pass rusher to be in Zach Wilson's face. I mean, Von Miller's still going to be out there. He's going to wreak havoc, but I do agree about LaFleur as well. Guy needs to dial it back with Wilson.
You're not loving him so far, LaFleur.
Look, I mean, I was taking out a little of my anger on the guy. It's just, we're sold on this. It's literally just because when guys are young. When they're young guys, everyone's just like, oh, he's good. First time offensive coordinator. He's gonna need to go through some bumps in the road, and I think they've all gotten a little ahead of themselves with what Wilson can do and like the way I know we're past the Jets here, but. It's the way they talked about him, saying like he prepares unlike any other rookie and like he's light years ahead, this and that. It seems like they're like expecting too much from him from the start, and the way the play calling is looking, having him throw these deep balls, not like dialing it in and making it easy for him. I do agree. It's going to be up to LaFleur, and losing Chubb on the Broncos does help. So we'll see what happens week 3.
Yeah, so
Vinny
those
says, this is where it's at, baby. Thank you, Vinny. Thank you for watching. You're a beautiful man.
Thank you, Vinny. We appreciate you. So those are the surprise teams I think that we wanted to touch on. Panthers, Raiders, and Broncos. I want to give them some shout outs because I don't think anybody thought that this is where they'd be at right now. But we can transition over to our picks now. You all mentioned we are running a little late.
That was the last section topic. So we are on to our first game of the weekly picks, which is Bucks at Rams.
Should we give a little recap of where we stand after 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as you guys know, or if this is your first time tuning in, we have a new wrinkle to the pick segment this week, where we are asking a fan every week to pick along with us and keep their records alongside us to see where we fall at the end of the season. So the current standings are, after this was a tough week for all of us.
Yeah.
Igal led the way at 2-2. Me and Alex were 0-4, and Richard and our fan of the week, Marco, were 1-3. So that leaves us right now, Igal pacing the standings at 5-3. Richard is in second place at 3-4. And then me and Alex are tied with the fans at 2-6. So definitely off to a slow start. I think that the spreads that we're picking is, it's going to take some getting used to. It's a little harder than it was last year. But that is where we currently stand. This week, our guest fan of the week is none other than Russ Brodsky, loyal listener, fan of the show. It's too bad he couldn't. Great father. Too bad he couldn't be here to give his picks tonight. But shout out to Russ, and go ahead, lead us off with our first game of the week.
All right, so we got Bucks at Rams. Like I said, this is what I think is an NFC Championship preview. These are two most well-rounded teams, I think, maybe in the league besides the Chiefs. No, well-rounded, I said, not best, well-rounded. So I think these are the two most well-rounded teams given their defense, what they have on offense, the quarterbacks. I just love this matchup. I'm so excited to see it, and I think we will see it again in the playoffs. I don't want to go first. Yigal, I want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
Yes, sir. I'm in the middle of the screen. So, we can do our little roulette thing that we do.
Okay.
So, it's honestly a really tough game to pick, and even Vegas will tell you that. It's -1 for the Bucks. But I know we're going straight up here. I am never going to doubt Tom Brady, and I am going to go with the Bucks. He's the best quarterback in the NFL. Until I stand to be corrected. He's the GOAT. He's a living legend.
Who?
I mean, no,
Tom
that's
Brady?
true.
Tom Brady.
He also has 9 touchdowns in 2 games, which is stupid.
So
Yeah, isn't that the most
Rob-
in his career for the first 2 weeks?
doesn't Rob Gronkowski have 4 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Just ridiculous.
So he said he doesn't watch film.
Yeah, he just goes out there and runs.
Yeah, he said if he's feeling good, he runs. So you
Has he
picked the
thrown a
Bucks?
pick either? Oh yeah,
Yes,
he did get
threw-
picked off
threw-
against the Cowboys.
I think he threw 2.
Yeah, you're right. All right, so you're up next, Rich.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Rams. It's in LA. That stadium is crazy, by the way. It's so cool. Nothing to do with, the game, but it is.
It is
when they show it on the screen. But we just want to say in the
We
chat.
should have been there last year.
I know. In the chat again, Mike Melda says he's taking the Bucks with the refs' help. Wow.
Oh.
He's taking the ref line.
Wow, we're already going with the little the fixes in for
Mr.
LA.
Mike Melda. He's going for it all. I'm going with the Rams. First big test of the year for New England. Not New England. Wow, look at me. For Tampa Bay. That pass rush coming up the middle from Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey on the outside. I see the Rams getting fired up for this game. Bucks get handed their first loss of the year, and everyone starts talking about the Rams as maybe the favorite coming out of the NFC. Does that mean they should be talked about that way? I don't know. But another reason is neither team has really been running the ball that well. And, I think it might turn into a gunslinging shootout. And I think Mr. Matthew Stafford, he's the guy. He's the guy I want in that situation.
He's a guy, man. Let me tell you, he is a guy.
He's definitely a guy.
Yes, I am also going to take the Los Angeles Rams.
Wow.
Ram it home, baby.
I do think right now the Rams are the best team in the NFL. I know that they did squeak by the Colts there. It looked like it was a really good game back and forth, or the Colts kind of made it close towards the end. So that, I think this is going to be a very good game. The -1 line, almost want to double down on it, but I'm not that confident. I think the Bucks could win, but yeah, give me the Rams. I think at home will be the difference maker here. The Bucks are flying out to the West Coast. And I said this last week, the Bucks are not going to go undefeated. Igal, you say that they're the best team. Brady's the best quarterback. I get that. But this is one of those games where the Bucks can drop and it really won't matter that much. It's a good team early in the season. Like that kind of it's not a bad loss. So I just love what the Rams are doing on both sides of the ball, and I'm going to stick with it until further notice. So give me the Rams.
All right.
Alex is also taking the Rams.
Wow.
He's not here, but he will be taking the Los Angeles Rams.
So
Okay.
it's just like last week. I took the Cowboys and you guys took the Chargers, right?
Yep.
3-1. I'll do it again. I'll take you guys down.
All right. Moving on to the next game. We have – oh, wow, I got to resize this. We have Packers at 49ers at San Francisco.
All right, we'll go reverse order here.
Yeah, Matt, you start us off.
So
In the chat, let us know what you got. Mike Melda, if you're still there. Love your contributions.
yeah, we appreciate you, Melda.
We do.
Alex is taking the Packers, the ultimate flip-flopper after his eulogy of them last week. He's back on the bandwagon. He's taking the Packers on the road against the 49ers. I'm also taking the Packers. San Francisco has looked good. Their offense is kind of just like doing what it does. Well, you know what? 17 points against Philadelphia last week, a little bit uninspiring. I just think the Packers are going to start rolling. I said this last week. We won't even remember week 1 against the Saints by the time midseason hits. This is still a team that has been to the NFC Championship for the past 2 seasons. Looks like they ironed out a lot of their offensive kinks last night against the Lions. Granted, the Niners defense is leaps and bounds above the Lions, excuse me. But when Rodgers is clicking like that, I'm not really too worried about it. Give me the Packers.
All right, so I'm going to do my first double Jeopardy, double down of the year, whatever you want to call it. For those who don't know, you have to pick a team, and they have to win with the spread, and you either get 2 wins, or if they don't win by the spread, 2 losses. Mike Melda picks the Packers in the live chat. Thank you, Mike. And I am also, because the Packers right now on ESPN, we use ESPN for our lines. The Packers are plus 3.5 in San Francisco. I think they're just going to win the game. I think they're just a better team. And even if they do lose, I really can't see the 49ers just blowing the doors off of them, or really having it not be closer than 3.5. I don't know. I don't like that line at all.
That's surprising. I
Yes.
guess Niners are a 2-0 team. They're
their defense is still good. I think Rodgers is rolling, like you said. So I like that they're not favored, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even consider that. Anytime you get one of the game of the weeks with the underdog, you might as well just double down if they're getting the points.
Exactly. So I'm taking the Packers plus 3.5 in San Francisco. That's my double down for the week. I think that's
the Packers defense is still kind of terrible.
Yeah, but Jimmy Garoppolo.
True.
I mean, Deebo Samuel, though, looking good. Revenge for Rodgers, Mr. Melda says. Yes. Oh, yeah, because if we're going back to the NFC Championship a few years ago.
Ooh, that was an ugly one.
Yeah. Different team, the 49ers, though. Different team.
Yeah.
They don't
Well,
have the
honestly,
fours.
before I thought the Packers were favorites in this game, and I was going with, and I still am going to go with the 49ers. I'm going to switch it up. I don't know. Like you said, I just think the defense is just all around better team. They look pretty decent. I know they only put up 17 points last week, but the Packers definitely looked a lot better because they were playing the Lions. And listen, I hope Aaron Rodgers, because he's on my fantasy squad, has a good week, but I don't know. I just think the 49ers take it, and that's before knowing that they're favorites now that I know that. So going to go with the 49ers.
All right.
Okay. Did you say you were doubling down on that or no?
I'm not doubling down.
No. Okay, cool.
All right. So I already have one of my spread picks down. We're going to move
Russ, did I say Russ Brodsky picking the Packers as well?
on. Okay. No, you did not say that. So Russ Brodsky for the Packers. Now we're on to our weekly spread picks. For those of you who don't know, if you're watching in the live chat or just listening to it later, we explain it every week. We do 2 regular games, and then we do our spread picks. Everyone gets to pick their own games, and just to put some variety into the picks, make it a little different. So Matt and Yigal have 2 each to do. I only have 1 more to do because I used my double down. So Yigal, you can go first.
So first game, I'm going to take the Cowboys -4 at home against the Eagles. Divisional matchup. I know they're usually close, and not a lot of people like to touch those games, but I don't know. I just find the Cowboys to be a much improved team. I don't know if that's the right word to really use, but I think they're a much better team than the Eagles. I don't buy into the Jalen Hurts hype whatsoever. And
Really?
I'm not buying into it, man. Not yet.
Again, in the live chat, Melda says, whatever you do, please never bet on the Jets. Just don't. That is some good advice, and I should have followed that last week when I picked the Jets plus 5.5. The good thing, Mike Melda, is that we do not actually – I mean, I don't know about you guys. I don't actually bet on the games I pick.
I think you know damn well about both of us.
yeah, I think these 2 guys do. I try to reel myself in with the betting. But my life is spiraling downwards, so maybe I'll throw some money soon. He said he lost a lot betting on the Jets. Well, that's your fault. I'm sorry. Follow your own advice.
Hey,
man.
you picked the Jets last week, Rich. You did.
I know.
You picked the Jets last week. All right.
I'll bet $250 on the Jets winning that game. Whew.
Winning money line, Melda, you're crazy, kid.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go next since Rich, you only have 1 pick. We'll save you for the next go around. Both of my picks here are kind of large spreads, but I'm gonna go. I think a safe play here moving forward is fade the Jaguars. So I'm gonna go Cardinals -7.5 in Jacksonville.
Looking at that one.
Cardinals kind of almost gave away that game against Minnesota this week with some poor play clock management and decision making. I know, Rich, you've been banging the drum on Cliff Kingsbury being a bad coach for a while now. So this past week definitely did not help his case. But I don't think it takes much to beat the Jaguars by double digits. I can't imagine why the Cardinals wouldn't go out there and just drop 40 on the Jaguars with that offense. Trevor Lawrence, I think, looked a little bit better in week 2 than he did in week 1 in terms of, cutting back on those turnovers. But yeah, I mean, I think that this is going to be a blowout. Cardinals giving only 7.5. As long as that's in single digits, I'm pretty comfortable taking that.
Nice. All right.
What's Alex's pick?
Alexander Masados, co-host of the show in the live chat, says, "What's good, idiots?" What's good, bro? We're talking about your bad picks. Do you want to read? Did you read out Alex's one of his spread picks, or do you want to do that right now?
Yeah. So Alex can. We'll start with Alex here. I know that we just had a whole conversation about fading the Jets. Melda, you're not going to like this one. Alex is going to be taking the 10.5 points against the Denver Broncos. I mentioned earlier in the show, don't hate that. I think it's a big line, but Alex is
with that Chubb injury. I like that.
Yeah. So Alex will take the Jets plus 10.5 in Denver.
He said, I'm still the best, he says.
After Melda said never bet on the Jets, Alex is still going for it.
All right. And what about Russ? Did you say his already, or am I
Russ, no, I'm sorry. Again, another non-biased pick here. Russ, the big Giant fan, will be taking Giants -3 against the Falcons.
Okay.
There's a trend here with our picks that we are very Homer-based podcast.
All right, and for my second pick, I'm gonna be this is basically Homer. The Thursday night football game, Carolina Panthers are -8 against first-time starter and rookie Davis Mills. I just cannot see that Texans offense getting anything going against this Panthers defense that's pretty much eating these young quarterbacks right now. So I like that one. Panthers offense has been looking pretty good. I think they'll be able to cover the 8 and give it to the Texans.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my pick. Panthers -8 in Jackson, in Houston.
Definitely was looking at that one. That one, it's a nice spread.
Mm-hmm.
Well, always like a nice spread.
Always like one.
Mayo.
So for my second game, I am taking the Vegas Raiders -3.5 at home against the Miami Dolphins. I don't know if Tua is going to play this game. Then we're taking the lines as we get them now, right? So
yep.
Mm-hmm.
I will, with the hip injury, whether he plays or doesn't play, that guy's still playing hurt. And the way that Derek Carr, we were talking about it earlier in the show.
Rib injury.
That's what I said, right? Or I said hip. My bad.
That was his college.
That was last year.
That was the college, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Derek Carr just looking really sharp. And the way that he's been performing against these other teams, I think that they should easily be able to cover the 3.5 at home, especially. That Vegas crowd is going off. And honestly, I'm going to Vegas, I think.
Tonight.
No, either sometime. I think it's either the end of this week or the beginning of next week for my sister. So hopefully if I get there on time, I can go to that game.
It does sound like a sick atmosphere to be in.
Yeah, that would be dope. Two more in the live chat. We have Melda again says Davis Mills Rookie of the Year campaign starts now. I like
this guy's ridiculous.
I like the confidence. Alex Masados. I'm gonna treat you like just any other fan. We're not gonna act like you're a co-host. Question: how is Wentz going to play with no ankles?
That's a good transition here to Alex's second pick. He's taking the Tennessee Titans over the Indianapolis Colts, -5 points. The Titans are giving to the Colts.
You're not a Jacob Eason believer, Masados?
Didn't Eason come in the game and throw a pick immediately to Jalen Ramsey?
First play.
I'm a believer.
Yeah, so
Takes a lot of guts.
Alex is not. He'll be taking the Titans -5. If Wentz is out, I mean, that line has to move from -5. I almost took it, but I have another pick here that I like a little bit better. But yeah, that's a good pick there.
You're telling me a guy that comes in the game for the first time and immediately tests the best cornerback in the league doesn't give you confidence?
He's like, fuck it, let's go 1-on-1 right now. All right, so Alex is taking the Titans. My father, Russ Bratzi, will be taking
the Giants again.
The Giants again. He's with me as well. He's taking the Cardinals -7.5 against the Jaguars. And then my second pick with Richard here with the Panthers -8 on Thursday night. I mean, this is a game that could be like 17-24-0. The Texans really might not score a point. And I don't think that the Panthers offense will have to do much to win, but -8 is a lot. It's going to be 2 scores, but I'll take a chance there.
I like it. All right. And we are at the end of our show. Little active live chat today. I like it.
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in.
We're like we said, we're doing this every Tuesday. If you have anyone else that would be interested in coming to hang out, we will address what you say in the chat. We'll talk about it if you got some good things to talk about. It's always fun. One last thing Melda said was, I remember back in the day it was tank for Tua, and now it's tank with Tua. Good, I like that one. And he said, "Woo, good show. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Please tune in next week."
Melda.
Thank you, man.
A lot of fun.
You know what, Melda? You could be our guest picker next week.
Oh, yeah.
Give back to the fans here. We're trying to fill up our schedule. So you'll be, if you're free next Tuesday night, we'll talk.
Awesome. Yeah, reach out to Brodsky. We'll set it up. You can come on the show, too, if you'd like.
Yeah, you can call in.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys next week. Thank you for tuning in. And as always,